Hello and welcome to the North Bank podcast. I'm your host Holly and I'm joined by Stef this evening. Hello Stef.
Good evening, how are we doing?
Well, this is as close to On the Whistle podcast as we're likely to do in a while.
What was it, about 10 minutes ago? Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. The excitement levels have dipped. I've calmed down from an exhilarating. No, I'm talking about Newcastle game still, aren't I? Sorry. Yeah. Okay, Steph, you posted in it, or you sent a message into the WhatsApp group which said this is the slickest we've been playing and purring at the Arsenal performance. I'd only started watching it about 5 minutes at that point, and I was like, excellent, looking forward to this. I feel cheated.
It did tail off somewhat, it has to be said. Yes, fine.
Job done, though, isn't it? Surely, you know.
Absolutely. That's...
team news when it dropped, I think you were only a player out from your prediction. Five players dropped out from the Newcastle game: Timber, Calafiori, Rice, Saka, and Eze. And in then Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, Marino, Odegaard, and Martinelli, Gyokeres, and Trossard up front. And yeah, by all accounts, it was a pretty impressive first half performance that I didn't see. I didn't see it. I did, I'm sure it was good, but
yeah. So just to talk on that, I mean, my one player that I got wrong was I thought Saka would start. The fact that he started the Newcastle game and then was taken off early, I just felt that the substitution, it felt planned because we were obviously going for the comeback against Newcastle, so it felt that was planned. And yeah, that start was incredibly quick. Olympiacos took a while to find the rhythm of the game, but by that time, our passing out from the back was accurate and incisive. I refer to it as passing with intent because there was a directness to it as well. And it has to be, I mean, Odegaard for me had one of his best games in a while. It was interestingly noted because someone had told me at the weekend and pointed out that they wondered if sometimes when Saka's not there, he can have a bit wider sort of radar, trying to see a bit more of the pitch for that. And it was notable, or it was noted by the commentators that rather than being almost stuck and rooted in that sort of right eight position that he picks up, he was drifting here, there and everywhere and coming short and on the turn and making incisive passes. It was an incredibly good performance.
Isn't that really funny then that the goal that Saka scored was from the left and Odegaard found him on the left?
But this is the thing, isn't it? There's probably not a huge amount in that theory. It's just that Odegaard is an incredibly brilliant passer of the ball. And, thankfully Saka can hit it really hard.
Who else stood out for you in the first half? Odegaard got the flowers there. I'll ask you in particular about Martinelli and Gyokeres.
Gyokeres picked up where he left off from the Newcastle game in that his centre-forward play was incredibly good. Strong, quick at times when he needed to be. Just, until he puts the ball in the net again, people are going to be raising an eyebrow. Martinelli made me laugh because, again, he started quite well and was quite productive, but he missed a header that looked like it was harder to miss. in the literally the first minute. I mean, we could have been 1-up in the first minute. He has a header that drifts wide of the post, and in my head I was thinking, I'm actually quite glad Holly's missing the start of the game because I know you had some choice words about Trossard that you saw later on. You would have been spitting feathers at that Martinelli chance. Only for him to benefit from some brilliant Gyokeres forward play, holding off the two defenders, I think, at one point. He did get a shot away, hits the post, and Martinelli taps in, little 1-2 with the post. So Martinelli did well to follow up, but yeah, it was another one of them.
Because we talked about managing minutes, and Arteta has done really well. Like, he's rotated. This would be the game to rotate home to Olympiacos, not the most challenging of opponents, although they played very, very well in the second half and made it very, very difficult. And I just wondered, because Gyokeres has played a lot of minutes, and I wondered if Martinelli might get shifted in more central for some of those subs that came on. because I only saw Gyokeres' second half performance. Do you think he tired a lot?
Well, I think two things happened. I think one, arguably he could have tired, absolutely right, but because Olympiacos had clearly adjusted to what we were doing, and we just weren't having success the same way we were in the first half, and therefore his service was kind of cut down a little bit as well. So he really was kind of feeding off scraps. Yeah, I mean, you said it in the group while the game was going on that it's brilliant that we can rotate in a lot of positions, but Gyokeres and Zubamendi, you're absolutely right, are the two players who don't have a natural replacement. You could obviously play Rice in the Zubamendi position, but him and Marino are dovetailing in the left eight. So, yeah, I mean, the only other game Martinelli has played centrally was against Port Vale, and just maybe Arteta wanted to keep a different shape.
But look at the goals he has scored recently. I mean, even go back to the Bernabeu and around the Real Madrid away game where you were at, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, must have slipped my mind to mention that I was at the Bernabeu when we
through the middle. And was it? Oh my God, that Man City game, obviously, just recently.
Yeah, but also Martinelli got the goal against. He came on Bilbao. He came on Bilbao and scored within a minute.
Okay, so there's 3 goals he's got from a centre forwards kind of positioning and running, and literally just to manage Gyokeres' minutes. I know that the temptation might be to leave him on and maybe he get another goal. I mean, he has scored 3 goals this season. It's not like he's Verts. Sorry. Chuckle. But he has actually scored. So because it's more important that he, plays well against West Ham at the weekend. I mean, home against Olympiacos, home against West Ham. West Ham game for me is the more important one, and that's the one I'd want him freshest for. But I wonder, we'll get to the teams for West Ham. I wonder, could we see, Rice? Oh, I don't know. I'd love to see the two Eze and Odegaard play centrally in front of either Rice or Zubamendi. Probably Zubamendi. I don't know. No, probably Rice actually, because I don't know either of them. They're both fantastic. Yeah. And a nod to the bench. I've written down the bench. Bearing in mind, Madueke, Havertz, Jesus and Nkapia all injured.
All stood in the tunnel in their big coat.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. On the bench, Kepa. Now, Setford as a third goalkeeper, but second sub. So one of those players could come in for him. Mosquera, Saka, Eze, Timber, Norgard, Wanyeri, Calafiori, Rice and Dauman. I mean, it is mental, that bench. It's like, how on earth? I mean, when you buy 8 players and you add Max Dauman to the mix as well, I mean, you have really... And the 8 players we've bought, I mean, Nkapia we haven't seen yet. But, I mean, Norgard maybe and Kepa to a lesser degree, but they've all made an impact. They've all impressed. And it's just ridiculous. It must be so demoralising for an opposition when you see Eze and Saka coming on and you're thinking, holy crap, what the hell? Really?
I put a social media post out during the first half. I tend to not post anything in the second. I said, after an impressive comeback win in a difficult domestic away game, so obviously the Newcastle game, to then start brilliantly in the next Champions League game, having made several changes that doesn't obviously weaken the starting lineup. I mean, we are in a new realm, as it were, with how we use the squad. And yeah, I sort of said as well that although Olympiacos did get a foothold in the game and made things very, very awkward for us, Raya did make a couple of excellent saves at different times. To be able to still make the changes that we did, we'd have loved that second goal to have come a lot earlier and made it a lot more comfortable. But we could still make changes without flogging certain players to death. I know we've just had a chat about Gyokeres and Zubamendi, but compared to what we were doing last season, it's sort of night and day, really.
And not to be sniffed at either. Man City let 2 leads slip tonight, and I think they ultimately drew, didn't they? 2-2 in Monaco.
Eric Dyer scored the penalty in the 90th minute, although it might have been in injury time, to draw 2-2 with Man City.
It's not the league. I don't know how many games we played this season. We've lost one, we've drawn one, and we've won all the others.
Yeah,
is that right?
That's correct. Yeah,
we drew. At Liverpool.
8 games total.
We lost at Liverpool. We drew Man City, and we won the rest. Whilst managing an injury, a spate of injuries also, and embedding new players into the team, and having the most difficult opening set of fixtures as well. As I said, I'm almost celebrating the league already.
Now, come on.
Don't clip that bit.
Too early for this.
Please. Right. What else stood out then? The incision, the forward play in the first half, the slickness was the word you used. Was it a case? Because 1-0 is a haunting scoreline for us from last season. And I only saw the second half today. Or pretty much. So was it a case of Olympiacos tweaking their own setup or attitude or whatever, or was it a case of us sitting back a little bit, putting the handbrake on a little bit?
No, because I think that there were chances. You yourself in the second half commented on how we perhaps should have done better with some of those chances. So the opportunities were there. So, and it's one of those things. We have to give a little bit of credit to the opposition. Olympiacos are Greek champions. They are unbeaten so far this season. That they're going to be awkward. Look, it's a team we should expect to beat at home, but that's not to say that it's going to be an absolute free ride. We started with such pace that it felt like if a second goal could come, then maybe it could
floodgates.
The floodgates could open and it could build momentum from there. But yeah, we plugged away, and ultimately you have to hit some kind of a wall, and the opposition have to react to some extent as well. Yeah, so I haven't got a huge amount of criticism other than, in a few moments we could have been a bit more clinical.
Trossard for me should have done better on 2 occasions, and Odegaard should have. The setup from Saka, Odegaard should have buried that first time. Yeah. And the rebound as well, but the first time should have done it. Really, I was getting slightly irritated by the commentators. I believe that they were patronising Gyokeres quite a lot. I thought they were really over-egging things he was doing, like as way of encouraging and in a positive sense. But I was like, it doesn't need your.
Did you go Roy Keane? He's just doing his job. He's doing his job.
Well, he was doing most of his job. He didn't have a chance really. I mean, I think he had a blocked shot, but there was no chance. There was no opportunity where I thought, come on, mate, you should be doing better than that.
Well, the one opportunity that Ali McCoist on the commentary on TNT picked up on was an opportunity where in the first half, Gyokeres' ball is played down the channel on the left, and what he did was get it under control and then run at the goal and try and score, a bit like the Leeds goal and things like that. But he could have squared it to Martinelli. That was definitely on. Although Ali McCoy said, I wouldn't have squared it to Martinelli because I'm a striker and I'm selfish. But he probably should have done in that instance.
Yeah, you can't blame your striker. I think I know. No. It was he should have done better with the shot. Is what he should have done.
Yeah.
He should have kept it under, kept it low. Is that the one that went over the bar? I saw a highlight.
Oh no! I think eventually it was blocked. I think because he tried to run it a bit further.
Because there was a chance I saw. I don't know, was it a highlight? But I don't know what half it was in, where he cut inside from the left onto his right foot, and he could have squared it.
Oh no, it wasn't that one.
And then he just blew. He just skied it. He kicked it over. It was that was definitely in the first half because he kicked it in down the other end. And I just a note on the bench, and the fact that Martinelli has scored and Trossard has scored recently, and Odegaard's level has definitely picked up, and Saka's now come in and he's scored, and Madueke has played extremely well, although hasn't got a goal. Eze's come in and got a goal and a few assists. Has he got one and two there? The pressure's really on that whatever the starting 11 is, they're looking over their shoulders.
Yep.
Because sometimes there's a better player to come on. You've got more, productivity. I mean, Saka again, like he's at Mr. Output, Mr. End Products, I think I called him.
He did.
Like it's just ridiculous. So that's the other benefit. You talk about the bench against PSG. Well, there was no one on that bench risk that the starting 11 were thinking my place is at risk here. Whereas now, like who's a guaranteed nailed on starter? I'm pretty sure Arteta has sat the whole squad down start of the season because of the quality of the squad as much as the quantity of the squad, and said, look, none of you are going to play every game. I mean, possibly with the exception of Raya in goal, for obvious reasons. It's the least physically demanding position, I guess. But even he hasn't played in the League Cup, and I'm sure that if we secure our Champions League qualification early, then Kepa will come in for some games there. But so Wanyeri travelled with the squad to Newcastle, but wasn't named as a sub. Today we saw those injured players in the tunnel. When they come back, there's going to be players who miss out, and it's again maybe a different way of doing things. He sat them down at the start of the season and said, "Look, this is going to be the case." So Rice didn't start today. Marino's not been in the team. Gyokeres and Zubimendi are probably the only two who have. Has Gabriel started every game? I know he went off today. Saliba hasn't started every game. Ben White and Timber, they interchange, and Calafiori has started the league games, but Lewis Skelly has started other games. It keeps the players fresh, but what it does do is when they're on the pitch, they know that they have to produce, and maybe they're more energised as a consequence not only of that, but they're fresher as well. It's like maybe it's a new. It's something that we're going to have to get used to, and I'm not sure we've picked the same team that Arteta's picked yet this season. I don't know if we have. I know we've agreed within ourselves, but I'm not sure we've got the right team yet. You were very close today. I was miles off. Be interesting to see what happens, what he does against West Ham. But again, it's the weird thing. Oh, Saka's injured. Okay, but we've got Madueke. Odegaard's injured. Okay, but we got Eze. It's like
feels weird.
It does. It's not. I'm not used to not feeling completely panicked. But let's look at the West Ham game on Saturday. What? Oh, hang on.
Or did you want Chris's thoughts?
Yes, read Chris's out because I don't.
So his thoughts on the Olympiacos game. He's messaged us, said, "We've just come off the back of a very intense, demanding game versus Newcastle. We've made changes and haven't quite been able to find the fluency we needed to put it to bed earlier. But overall, job done, no injuries, useful minutes for Odegaard and Saka, who will start on Saturday. Gyokeres worked tirelessly, got much better service, and just lacked the killer finish. Olympiacos gave it a good go, so credit to them too, particularly second half. Do I get a prize for 3 correct score predictions in a row?" No. He and I said 2-0, but he correctly predicted 2-1 against Newcastle, so well done, Chris. He also made a little...
What did I say? I said 4-0.
You said 4-0, which might have been slightly optimistic.
Shouldn't have been first
If we'd
half.
got the second goal a lot earlier, then who knows? Chris also added a little PS, and City blow their lead twice. Nice. I'm off to bed. Early start tomorrow.
So, West Ham, 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday.
Yeah, can't wait.
Now, Liverpool, let's talk about Liverpool actually lost away at Galatasaray 1-0 yesterday, and didn't play well apparently, and defensively were all over the shop, and I didn't see it. Alisson went off injured, and Slot quite quickly after the game, so you don't know about the reality of the situation, but quite quickly he said that Alisson will definitely not be available for the Chelsea game. So Liverpool play Chelsea at 5:30 at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. A depleted Chelsea, typically lucky Liverpool. But Alisson, who has been their best player this season, or their busiest player this season almost, he may be absent. Ekitike also went off injured, but he didn't express any opinion on whether he would be out for any reasonable amount of time. And I heard Jeremy Carragher say something about, when he was asked, are you worried about Liverpool's last two performances? And he said, I've been worried about every Liverpool performance this season so far. And I thought it was quite interesting because he's right. Yeah. They've not, I can't think of a game, maybe there is one, but I can't think of a game that they've comfortably won.
Well, no, and you'd argue that their most solid performance was against us.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty even game and took a worldy free kick. Everything else has been pretty harem-scarum, basketball, very wide open, teams running through their midfield. So,
So, and again, you cannot play. I mean, that's why I was a bit annoyed that the second goal came so late today, because Liverpool have been playing every game pretty much to the last minute at the highest of tempos because the game state has dictated that that's the case. Whereas we haven't. We've had, the Leeds and Forest games have been quite comfortable. Port Vale was quite comfortable, controlled, if not like a heavy scoreline.
Yeah.
And so we've had okay, in terms of less intense games perhaps. But pressure, we need to, we will go top if we beat West Ham because Liverpool don't kick off till 5:30. Are we? How are you feeling? Are you feeling old Stef mindset? We'll bottle this. West Ham have West Ham won the last two games they've played at the Emirates?
Yeah, they have.
It's I don't like. And Nuno's, they had a decent performance and result away at Everton in his first game in charge, 1-1. A lot more structure and security, stability at the back, and defensively the unit was solid. Solidity is what I'm looking for. Yeah. I know that Thomas Souček is suspended still. I'm not sure they got Aaron Wan-Bissaka might be back. I've not heard of anybody else. Jared Bowen obviously will play, and Paquetá. Jared Bowen's their danger man, isn't he? But
yeah,
we cannot allow this game to go any other way than a home win. To leapfrog, to have, if I told you two games ago that Liverpool will be kicking off against Chelsea 1 point behind us, you'd have thought, whoa, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think? How do you think Arteta will set up in terms of personnel? And do you agree with that, or would the team that you would select differ in any way?
Just before I talk about the team itself, just the whole context of West Ham being a weird bogey side for the last couple of years, but I'm not coming into this game expecting the same. It could absolutely happen, don't get me wrong. There's still some threat in there and some good players, but a bit like you were saying, you're not used to this idea of, well, Saka's out, Madueke's there, and Havertz is out, but we've got Gyokeres. That kind of mindset. There is just something different. So I'm not expecting things.
Can I just jump in there? Right. I've just read a tweet from Arteta's press conference, only because Gabriel went off with a bit of a potential injury. So this is what he says about that. He says he could carry on, but we decided not to take any risks. That's because Mosquera is on the bench.
Oh, you scared me then. I thought you were going to say, and that's him done for the season.
Yeah, I said, because Chris said that, well, Raya fell on him, he should be fine. I said, with our luck, that's him out for 3 years. But it's not. But that's the beauty of the squad that we've now got. We can't. Last year he'd have played on, and who knows what more permanent damage he'd have caused, or not permanent, but more serious damage he'd have caused. So sorry, I just wanted that was just to reinforce it, kind of what we were saying about the squad and the the pressure eases off having to take risks, and Arteta's leaning into that. Since half time against Man City, so that's second half against Man City, Newcastle, and today's game, he's leaning into his squad. Yeah, maybe he's trusting them. Maybe he's getting used to it himself.
And it's therefore the mentality going into these games that we should win, compared to the likes of City and Liverpool, even Newcastle away, where we know it's going to be a much tougher contest. And that's not to denigrate West Ham, who have beaten us at our place for the last 2 seasons, albeit somewhat unbelievably, especially the one before where we had a 784 shots and they still won 2-0. It was unreal. West Ham are going to go full Nuno. They started with Fulkrug, who was kind of out in the cold up front, so he's gone big man up top like Chris Wood was for him at Forest. So it's going to be that, Jared Bowen on the counter is what we're going to have to deal with. But like you say, we have the depth to hopefully cope with that, and we'll just have to sort of see how it goes.
Can I jump in with another statistic?
Yeah.
That I'm just reading. Arsenal have had a substitute score in 5 consecutive games for the first time since 2004.
What? Wow.
Again, another indicator or nod to the strength of our squad. Trossard, Martinelli against Athletic Club Bilbao, Martinelli against Man City, Trossard against Port Vale, Merino against Newcastle, and Saka against Olympiacos.
Blimey. That's great.
What's Arteta's finishers, isn't it?
Well, this is it. But they're all finishers in a way, because like you say, and I said about the starting lineup tonight against Olympiacos, it wasn't an obviously weaker team. You'd argue that, Timber's having a better season than White, but White is still very, very good. So it's one of those, isn't it? Right, team, West Ham. Actually, because Chris has sent his team through, and I've got exactly the same team. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, assuming fit, Calafiori. Midfield 3, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Rice. And then a front 3, Saka, Gyokeres and Eze. I did deliberate over that wide left and wondered whether Eze, he would start with him in the Odegaard position, but I think Odegaard was there tonight, so yeah, bring him in. Martinelli and Trossard from the bench. What brilliant players.
Trossard should always be from the bench.
Well, I tend to agree.
That should have been written into his contracts.
Martinelli will be the 12th man, as it were, from the bench in that situation. But at the same time, if Eze was in Odegaard's position and Martinelli started, I wouldn't be tearing my hair out. So, yeah.
No, because that we've got the options from the bench, and
exactly,
as that statistic illustrates brilliantly, he uses them, he leans into it, and they're productive. Like, you can't ask for more than that. 5 consecutive games, your substitute scores, 2 of them in one instance. I must be honest, I listened to every word you say, obviously, Steph, but I didn't quite listen to that team because I was trying to see my own team written down in this half light I seem to have become bathed in. I thought this may be the same team as you selected. I have no idea about the back. But anyway, Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, Rice, Merino, Odegaard. I thought, because of the minutes that Zubimendi's getting, I thought he'll drop Rice back and Merino will play and Odegaard. And West Ham, again, it's about playing to our strengths. We should go at West Ham. We should go for them. We should be 2-3-0 up by half time. That'll have that attitude at least. And then I said Saka, Gyokeres and Eze across the front 3.
Yeah.
Do I think he'll do that? No,
I think Zubimendi will play. I think that's pretty nailed on.
It's only to give him. Who have we got next week?
After that's Fulham away.
No midweek game.
I can't remember now off the top of my head. Is there not another Champions League game? There might not be. Scores and fixtures.
No, there's not.
There's not.
You're right.
No.
Okay, in that case, then, because that means a full week off. Oh no, it's internationals. Sorry.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not Fulham the week after.
Fulham's
the 18th.
I should know that because it's my birthday. and we never play on my birthday. Instead,
football.
I have to endure international football or spend time with other people.
What's that all about? And not talk about football?
Well, I will talk about football anyway, but that's by the by.
Whether invited to or not.
So, yeah.
What's Chris's predicted score?
Chris's predicted score is exactly... Oh, no, it's not exactly the same, is it? Because it was for the Champions League. He's gone 2-0 to the Arsenal.
And you?
I've gone 1-0 to the Arsenal.
You think Arsenal versus West Ham is going to have one goal in it?
Holly, we lost 1-0 to Arsenal last season.
Arsenal
to West Ham. Sorry. And we lost 2-0 to West Ham the season before that. So, at home.
No.
Should be said.
This game is not going to have just one goal. We're going to get 3 of them.
You're going 3-0?
I am.
Oh, you're not going 2-1? Or they're getting 2 or 4?
I'm going for...
You're going 3-0?
3-0 Arsenal. Yeah.
So 1-0 me, 2-0 Chris, 3-0 you. Okay, we'll see. Cool. Should be all right.
Steph, remarkably... I have nothing else to say.
Are you going on Saturday?
I am going on Saturday, yes.
Good. Excellent. Back in the North Bank. I don't know if Chris is going, he hasn't said.
So, I'm going, and I'm like, I think you alluded to it. You said that you're not expecting the same outcome as the last 2 seasons going into this game, although you're not going too far the other way with 1-0.
No, I'm not.
Hedging your bets a little bit.
And I don't know what's informing that. There's probably still a little bit of the pessimistic Stefan brain in there that's pulling at that. But again, I think just having those options and having that difference, and we just look so solid at the back. Even though we gave up chances today, well, there's David Raya to make at least 2 exceptional saves.
Well, that save in the first half.
The first half one is unbelievable. I think there was another one that was kind of tipped around the post in the second half that was actually a lot better.
It was going wide anyway.
Was
it?
He
wouldn't have known.
Okay, right.
He wouldn't have known that. But it was still a good save. I think we bang on about narrative all the time, and I get the impression that Arteta also likes a narrative. And
probably
there
too
it
much.
is. You know, you want to guard against complacency. We would have looked at the first 6 fixtures culminating in St James's Park and thought, right, okay, that's a block. That's the first block. Now we've got a month of games where we don't leave London. I think the 1st of November we're at Burnley. I think that's the first time we're out of London. The next time we're outside of London. So there's your next block. We should be winning all of those games. Now, that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
But breaking it down, Arteta's got his team talk. Like, lads, this team beat us last season and the season before.
Yeah.
There's no room for complacency there.
No.
Palace, Fulham away. Did we lose at Fulham away last season or we drew?
I think we lost. Scored an equaliser late on that was then ruled out.
Right.
Or did we draw?
Palace at home was definitely a draw. It was a 2-2 draw, wasn't it? As Eze scored for them. Mm-hmm. How dare he?
I think also, like you say, although it's incredibly early in the season, given Liverpool's last couple of results and the noise around them all of a sudden, psychologically, to just do that little leapfrog, and they could go and beat Chelsea, no problem, Saturday evening, because Chelsea
I'm still expecting them to.
I'm still expecting to, because, Chelsea are a bit of a basket case too, but just that little psychology. Because for the first 5 games, having won, everyone was like, this is easy. Imagine what we're like when we really click into gear. And all of a sudden,
that was the way they assumed it would go. And it may still go that way.
Sure.
But these last 2 little games it's gone the way everybody thought it would go. As in, you can't sustain that 90+ minute winner every single time.
Good when we did it at Newcastle, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the first time we've got a winner in injury time this season, isn't it? We did score an equaliser the week before in stoppage time. An equaliser we were bizarrely
disappointed,
underwhelmed with. Not the quality of the goal, but actually, who was it? Chris Sutton said somewhere that he felt that Arsenal may well look back at that point against City and see it as the point they won, like the point that clinched them the league, that it could be really crucial. Because it did take 2 points off City as well as give us a point. And City are only 3 points behind us. Like, it's...
I know we've... I was just going to say, I know we've also looked at the Liverpool game and wondered about what if. And someone likened it to... Do you remember the season that Moyes took over at Man United? Well, early in that run, Chelsea went to Old Trafford and got a 0-0 draw. And most people were like, okay, away at United, that's a pretty good result. And then everyone went and beat United. West Brom, Newcastle, everyone was like undoing all the records that had stood for decades and decades. And all of a sudden Chelsea like, hang on, why didn't we go for it? What was wrong? And it could be, if Liverpool, do find it hard to cope without Alisson, as they seemingly are a little bit without Trent, and if a couple of players aren't quite clicking, as Wirtz is coming under criticism, Salah, maybe not contributing in the same way, we could look at that Liverpool game and go, well, why didn't we create a load of chances? Because Galatasaray would go through their midfield. And
Palace could have been 4-0 up.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So, but again, it's the context, the timing of the game, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
They paid us plenty of respect as well, which kind of nullified the game. So
yes, it was never going to be an open game. Jamie Carragher said it's like basketball games watching Liverpool at the moment. It's you attack, we attack, you attack, we attack.
Except ours.
And that's not a lot of control there. Right. Okay, well, apologies for the lighting issues. But that's what happens when your bulb blows midway through podcast. Because those of you watching may have noticed that I was a lot brighter, not academically, never bright. I was a lot brighter about 20 minutes ago, and I'm kind of more lurking in the shadows now. Well,
speaking of a light bulb moment, I'm just had a good idea, and that is to promote everyone to go and subscribe on YouTube. So if you can go to @NorthBankPod, keep forgetting to remind you to do it at the start. It's my fault.
It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy to remember. We just start
chatting. You gave
chatting.
me stick for never remembering it, and then I challenged you to remind me. We'd make it a bit of a gag at the start of each one, and both of us forget it. We need Chris.
Yes,
we
two
need
English
Chris
teachers
trying
to remind each other of what to do.
Chris needs to remind you to remind me. Yeah, okay. Listen, we need to stop this now.
@NorthBankPod, YouTube. Give us a subscribe.
Thank you very much. Right, okay. Enjoy the winning feeling again, and we'll meet up again probably, at the game, but podcasting Saturday evening for another relatively close to On the Whistle podcast. Woo! Unless we lose, and we won't be able to talk about it until Sunday, because it will take that long to calm down from the anger. Anyway, all right, okay, cheers. Have a great few days wherever you are, and see you on Saturday. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
See you then. Cheers, mate.
The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app, and find us on your socials @NorthBankPod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.